And your co-host, Annalie Reyes.
And I'm your co-host, Javier Vicuna.
And on today's show, we're going to be talking about Memorial Day, and we're going to be giving our thoughts regarding this American holiday. However, this is going to be a lot of opinions, so in advance, we do not mean to offend anyone. These are our own opinions and our own beliefs, and if we, by any accident, we offend you, it's not our intention. But before we start talking about all of this, today, Annalie's going to give us our quote of the week.
Yeah, thank you, Santi, for mentioning about that disclaimer. And I think it's a really good opportunity to learn different opinions and just like learn overall like what can we say that doesn't offend them like personally, you know? Mm-hmm. So just thank you for that disclaimer. And this quote of the week is by Franklin D. Roosevelt. It says, "Those who have long enjoyed such privilege as we enjoy forget in time that men have died to win them." And I agree with this quote because I feel like we were very fortunate to not be attacked every day. I know some countries are going through that, and I just can't imagine the pain that people are going through with the bombs and attacks every day and not knowing when they're going to die. And it's really sad, like, seeing that their friends are dying too. So, yeah, it's a lot even to watch those type of destructions. And I also want to give my condolences to anyone who lost someone through a war. It doesn't matter what country they were in. We're all humans, and we don't deserve any inhumane attacks. I also want to say that this quote is kind of encouraging to reflect on what happened in history and today. And we will also be reflecting about Memorial Day and our history of military forces. That being said, I'll give it to Santi.
Wow, what a powerful quote. And it's true that sometimes we forget how we get things and how we can take advantage or enjoy certain things. And we just kind of like, it's just kind of how it is.
Yeah, because, I mean, there was a lot of people who were sacrificed throughout the entire history of America.
Absolutely.
In wars. And we'll talk a little more about that in the show today. But
yeah, it's so important to just take a little bit of time to reflect on what were the consequences or the price we had to pay to be able to
be where we're at right now.
Exactly.
Exactly, yeah.
So now we're going to be playing a short PSA, and then we'll be right back.
Wildfire season is here again. Pacific Gas and Electric will turn off electricity when there is extreme fire danger to reduce the risk of wildfires. Marin residents need to be ready in case of prolonged power outages. First, you can sign up to get notifications about planned power outages. These will tell you when the power outages are likely to happen and how long the power will be out. To receive notifications, text your zip code to 888-777. Second, be sure to have a working flashlight, enough food and water for 3 days, and other necessary items stored in your house and or your car. Third, learn about how to prepare to keep your family safe in case of a wildfire or extended power outage. See emergency preparedness information on the readymarin.org website. Please text your zip code to 888-777 to get on the alert system today.
Thank you, Santi, for saying that PSA. We are coming up with the wildfire season, and so we hope you guys found it informational with the PSA. Next, we're going to talk about what is Memorial Day and how soldiers are honored during Memorial Day. And so on the last Monday of May, the United States of America honors men and women who died while serving in the U.S. military. And then this holiday originated following the Civil War and was declared an official federal holiday in 1971. I read that it was first like a woman decorating the funerals and the cemeteries of people who lost their lives through war. So, yeah, that was during, after, like, the following years of Civil War.
Yeah.
And then people visit cemeteries or memorials, participate in parades, and also hold family gatherings during Memorial Day to honor those who lost their lives during, like, being military.
Wow.
That's great. I didn't know that, have you guys actually ever been to Washington?
No,
I have not.
And seen like the memorial that they have there for all the fallen.
I've seen pictures of it.
Yeah, I have pictures in history class and courses.
That I've shown you how it looks like, right? Yeah.
But no, I haven't.
Yeah, no, it's really, it's crazy. Once you're there, you really feel like a different kind of energy, and you really feel like a different kind of appreciation for all these people who died for our well-being. And speaking of that, of death, not a fun topic, but I do need to mention that across all wars that have occurred throughout America's history, a total of 649,596 American troops have died in battle, and more than 539,000 died due to other non-combat related causes.
Whoa.
So this is a huge number of deaths, and that have accumulated over the wars that we've had here that America has participated in, and it really puts into perspective just how many people sacrificed their lives to serve our country, really. This also shows just how brutal war really is. War isn't pretty, and war is something that is going to cause many deaths. And again, it's just part of the risk. I understand that relations with other countries can be dealt with in other ways other than war, but when it comes down to it, many of the problems, the way in which America serves its problems is just by starting wars, which, is a very complicated issue as to why they do it in the first place. But America has one of the best, if not the best, military in the entire world.
Yeah.
So, and a lot of our money, a lot of our tax money goes to that.
Yeah.
To all of that. So, we're always supporting our troops in any way that we can. And I have nothing but respect if you have anyone in the military serving our country, because I understand that is not hard. And it's also very scary, too, to have a family member potentially sacrificing their lives for our country. But it's valiant and it's very brave and very, very respectable. So that's what I got to say about mine. But I'm going to go ahead and pass it over to Santi, who'll talk a little more about collateral damage that has been caused by America in these wars.
Yes, so it's crazy to think about how many people have passed away due to the wars that we've participated in, and it's just a way to, Memorial Day is a way to remember how we had to go through that, or how we went through that to be able to be where we are right now. And when it comes to collateral damage, there's so many ways you can look at it. When I was doing my research, I was going back and forth of what were the causes of all the wars that we've had. Well, one, if we talk about relationships, the reason why wars start is due to disagreements or not knowing how to handle certain situation, as you all know.
Or just like tension building up.
Yeah, tension building up. Yeah. For example, one of the biggest one is oil. We fight a lot for oil. So we've had so many relationships with other countries and doing certain things that is not really good, but it has caused for people to pass away because we have to go to war. We have to do all of this stuff. So when it comes to relationship, there are two things that are the outcomes. One is you create allies with certain countries. You have a relationship, and a good relationship where you can trade off, because as you all know, that there are certain things we don't have here in America that we need, and how do we get them is we trade with other countries. That's how it works. And if you have a good relationship, you guys can trade off with other countries, but sometimes that isn't the case, which is what causes us to go to wars. And for example, the oil, we've had so many situations with that. And then there are other things where you create enemies, right? And then so part of the collateral damage that happens too is sometimes it's not intentional. For example, World War II. If we talk about World War II, what was the cause of that? It was the cause of how people had a disagreement about other people's beliefs, right? And so what happened was there was people going against, the other people's beliefs and how that kind of came into it.
And it created allies, right?
Yeah. So then
with Japan and Germany.
Exactly. So then we were all against each other instead of being together and solving the problem. What we ended up doing was
creating allies and fighting each other.
Yeah, fighting each other. So that's how.
And that makes things more complicated because all these different countries are fighting each other now. So
exactly. So when we talk about collateral damage, it's not just one thing. It's like dominoes, if you do a domino effect, domino effect,
that's a good way of saying it.
Throw one piece, it can go, but then there are other pieces connected to it, and it causes a lot of damage. Now, when we talk about soldiers, people who are... So back in the day, let's remember that some of them didn't have the choice. You were called in to go to war.
Yeah.
You were called in. And for those people, how that affected them is the mental health. Going back to that mental health there's a lot of movies I would recommend for you guys to watch just to kind of understand that feeling. One of my favorite movies to watch regarding how going to war affects a soldier is Unbroken. I don't know if you've seen that movie. It's called Unbroken, where you just it's a two-part movie, but you see how he struggles and he fights. He was a track runner and he went to the military because he had to. And in that process, he had so many mental problems and he suffered so much and all of that. But the second part shows the mental health issue that with any noise, he would jump. He was afraid and
he was traumatized.
Yeah, and that's how a lot of soldiers are also veterans are in the streets.
They suffer from post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD.
That's correct.
Right, where they just can't. They can't forget. Obviously, war is very, very traumatic to be there. If you've never witnessed death before, your eyes, and you just see a bunch of people that you met over the course of your military career.
Yeah, also the gunshots, the bombs, they're so loud.
It's loud and it screws your head up.
Exactly. So that's the other damage that comes with wars, which is, like I said, collateral damage. It comes so many pieces. And same thing with... America has for example, take other developing countries where we have gone and created, taken advantage of this was back in the day, where we've taken advantage of their resources and have left. And now these developing countries, because these big countries come in and do what they need to do and then leave, they leave the country without any prosperity. Okay, so that's also part of how wars cause certain changes. We send soldiers to different places and all of that because of disagreements. So war is not pretty. And we've, over the past years, especially back in the day, because we were trying to get land and all of that, we had to fight a lot of wars. With that being said, do you guys have anything else to add before we go into our song?
Just that I respect veterans that suffer from PTSD.
Yes.
Because I know there's a lot of veterans out there who, suffer from what they experienced in war. And a lot of people seem to associate veterans as evil people. But that's another complicated issue. I feel like I have just a lot of respect for veterans because they had to suffer seeing a lot of their men die. Or a lot of their allies die. And just being in war, being there can really change your perspective on life as a whole. You really value your life once you've been in a war. I mean, I'm just saying this. I've never been in war. But
no, I'm it would be scary.
From the times I've talked with veterans, this is what I've gotten. This is the overall vibe I've gotten from them. But scary. Just
watching death. I mean, that is traumatizing. Watching with soldiers and people who are in the military, you work together, you train together, you kind of build a family. And then when you're in a war and you watch those people pass, and even those who get injured, you see all of that. It's just, I think it's a lot to handle.
It really is.
It is. So, we're going to leave it on that for now, and we're going to be right back. We're going to play a song by Incense and Cologne called Beautiful Lies, and we'll be right back.
I can't possibly Possibly I come free, keep it 100, that's all for me. You poppin' ain't thanks for me, what you want from me? But if it wasn't for you, how would I show you I'm out? I come from California, California. I'm in a couple shining like a star in the sky, man. How you ever been to South Dakota? With a beautiful sight, man. All the seasons through my time. Oh, don't tell me lies through those beautiful eyes. How can you tell those lies behind those beautiful eyes? A beautiful picture.
Welcome back. That was from Incense and Cologne. We hope you guys enjoyed it. If you are a music artist, please, if you're interested in putting some of your music here, you can contact us and we'll be more, we would enjoy to play your songs here.
Yeah, because we really want to reach out to all local Marin County artists who may want to share their music with us. So, do follow us on Instagram or anywhere, and shoot us a message.
Yeah, and going back to what we were talking about, we really want to reflect and talk about our opinions of Memorial Day. And I wanted to first start off with how we feel about Memorial Day. And I personally feel like it's a really sad day because you have to, it's like a day where
it's bittersweet.
Yeah.
Yeah, because part of it is you're very grateful for the soldiers for what they did and for what they've done and helped serve our country, but also so many of them died as well. So it's kind of just it's a lot to take in with Memorial Day, especially if you've had someone in the military who has been a part of a war, especially. I feel it can be very...
Like the Korean War, the Iraq and Afghanistan War, the Vietnam War.
There's a lot of Vietnam War vets. Yeah. But...
Well, that's what I wanted to say, but I was going to ask, Santi, do you have any other opinions? Like, how do you feel about Memorial Day?
I have mixed feelings, and honestly, I am thankful and grateful for all the soldiers who risk their lives and continue to risk their lives to keep us safe and protected. However, to me, I also have that sadness of why do we have to have so many, why do we have to sacrifice or make these people risk their lives when I know it will never be this way, but I just wish that we could have good relationships with other countries so we don't have to go to war, because war affects not just the people we lose who are in the military but it's those innocent people that also pay the price,
right,
because of wars.
I'm always against the killing of families, innocent people, I'm saying children. All of that is completely unnecessary, and that's evil. That's pure evil.
And most of the decisions are from the leaders, and the innocent people don't have any part in that choosing.
Exactly. So that's when I'm a little bit of wow, I respect and I'm grateful, because like you mentioned in the quote, yes, I have so many opportunities and so many privileges, which is amazing. But how people get it and how we have to get that is the part where it makes me feel sad, because I just wish it wasn't that way. And I think for a lot of people, we don't want wars. It's nothing pretty. But
I don't think anyone wants war.
But unfortunately, that's just how it is. And it's hard to just, when we really talk about wars and our opinions, it becomes hard because... there's so much that goes into it, because, as you all know, when you have a disagreement with someone, it's hard. And it's, everybody wants to be right. So that part is hard to...
That's why war is it's a complicated issue, as we've mentioned many times now throughout this show so far. But speaking of of the military. How do you think our country would function if we didn't have a military? And do you think it would cause more conflict, or would there be more people dying if we didn't have a military?
Well, I like how you mentioned that the U.S. has like a lot of people are paying through taxes.
Yeah, I mean, we have
we have
a really, really crazy, amazing military. Like in terms of everything.
A lot of money goes into
it's estimated about $100 billion annually.
Oh wow! I didn't even know it was that much.
Yeah, it was that much.
Wow.
Oh, that's
Yeah, we actually have 800 military bases around the whole world. So we have more bases than any other country. And I was looking through the comments of this video. It was so funny because there was like a country saying the U.S. has more bases than their own country, which is crazy. But yeah, there's a ton of bases, and that started with just wars in general, and they have to, like with the Korean War, they had to bring like supplies and stuff, and so that's why they created those bases. But going back to the question, I feel like if we did not have a military, I feel like we would actually need to make treaties, a lot of treaties with countries. I know we talked about that there's like some countries that do not have military.
I'd love to talk about that.
Yeah, like Honduras, Costa Rica. Yeah. Do you want to add?
Yeah, go ahead.
So when I was on my trip to Costa Rica, I started talking to the locals, and they mentioned that Costa Rica didn't have a huge military the way the U.S. has. They don't even put a lot of their money towards the military. So she told me that if they were to go into war, they didn't have a protection. And where did that money go? They actually invested that money towards the education of students. So something interesting with that is almost all the kids that go to college and through all of their education, it's all paid for. So my host brother, who is studying mechanic engineer, I think, he was provided with his supplies and him going to school. And the reason behind that is Costa Rica wanted to have their students educated so then they can make things and build things and have better opportunities and create better opportunities. So that to me was so interesting. So that's what they did, is took that and put it into education.
That's actually really great that you mentioned Costa Rica like that, because Costa Rica is one of the safest countries in South America.
Really? I didn't know that.
It's one of the most popular tourist spots to go to, and they do a really good job of monitoring like safety, the regulations, which is why it makes it such a popular place to go, especially if you're not like a local. But just that's because I have a lot of friends from Costa Rica.
Oh, okay.
And they tell me that it's just very chill over there. And it's just interesting that you mentioned that their military is kind of just
they said that their taxes don't go towards that. They go toward their kids' education. And actually during the pandemic, the kids received food, which my host mom would text me and would tell me, how are you guys? And I would explain, and I asked them, and then she said, the kids are receiving food from school. So she would go and get food for the kids, and they would give them milk, fruits. So that was so interesting for me to see that difference.
What would you guys think would go for the money? Like, what do you guys would want for that money from our military? Where would
if we didn't have a military?
Yeah, if we didn't have a military.
Ooh.
You could say all sorts of things for that. Education, like I said before, I think that's really important. Anything that can support arts, like in terms of music. I
definitely think working towards minority groups, making sure.
That and like building roads, building better housing.
Homeless people getting jobs.
All that would be great to have all that money. And I know part of our tax money does go to things like that.
Yeah.
But not nearly as much as what the military gets from our tax money.
Wow, that's a lot of money.
So
it is.
Yeah.
Wow.
But there's also like an effect of like the people who are working in the military won't have those jobs. So like, yeah, that's gonna be like a shift, you know. And so I feel like they can help like make companies and make more jobs, but that's another worry that like I would be worried about if there wasn't any military in the U.S.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I mean, also the military is not just soldiers going to war. It's a whole...
Oh, yeah. You have to go through a whole training regime.
There's different types of jobs that you have. I have a cousin and his partner who are in the Air Force, and they do different jobs. And, yeah, and it's hard to have... it's hard to have someone also be in the military because they're moving.
Constantly?
Yeah, constantly. I know for my cousin, he went to New Mexico, then he went to Korea.
Oh, yeah.
And then
they
he
travel
came back.
all over
the
world.
Yeah, and then now they're moving his family to... they're going to move in Japan. So,
nice.
you know...
Yeah, Japan's a very popular spot to go.
So it's really hard, but I like we said before... We do enjoy a lot of privileges, so
that we wouldn't get anywhere else.
And it does come with. It's just everything that you do always has
an effect
on
consequence, whether it's good or bad.
Yep.
It's always gonna have some type of result, and there are times where we've done good, and there are times where we've done bad. But again, I think
it all comes with also saving lives. Obviously, yes, so many innocent lives are lost over war, but there's also a lot of innocent lives that are saved over war.
It's just a mixture.
It's a mixture of
things.
There's always going to be sacrifices, and in the end, really, no one really wins. There's always going to be innocent people.
I can see that there always has to be darkness in order to realize that there's like brightness in the world. That makes sense.
I just wish it wasn't that way. You know,
I mean,
you are able to.
It wasn't that way, but
and you're able to appreciate it more.
It's a hard truth. It's a hard pill to swallow, but
yeah. I mean, just for me, I always picture how good I've had my challenges. But when I think about those people who experience their country being at war, it's so hard. I see so many videos of, especially through this time, back in the day, we didn't see the results of war. But now with social media, you can see a lot of what things happen.
What's going on. Yeah.
And when you see war without any filters in social media, it hurts me. Like, it touches me in my heart, and I just... Oh God! Like if there was a power that I can turn off.
Or you could be a superhero.
Yeah,
and save the day.
I would do anything to be able to save those kids' families. But again, like you said, it's a hard reality.
That's the thing. It's like there is soldiers obviously that are saving these families from people who want to harm them.
Yeah.
But at the same time, they have to kill other people who. Have to be innocent. It's crazy.
Yeah,
no, it really
but
is.
to all those soldiers and to all the people who are in the military and doing their job.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
We know that it must be hard on you too, because as we have our own opinions and ideas and how we don't like war, and people who are working in that field, it's hard, and we are grateful, and to those who have passed away for this country and to protect the people. Thank you so much. And with that being said, we're running out of time, and I just want to remind that in our generation, we've had so many people, young adults, talk about, their beliefs and how to stand up for those. So to all of those, please do that. Please don't be quiet. If you have something that can help our environment, our people, our country, and the world, go for it. People will judge you. People will say you're crazy. People want to do things to stop you. But if it's in your heart and it's doing good for you and the people around you, go for it.
Always voice your opinion.
Absolutely.
Always voice your opinion. Never be scared.
Yeah, and we've had so many examples of young adults who are speaking about these topics, and they're hard, but it's our job. If we want to change, if we want a better future, it's our job to speak up about these issues. And yeah, so tune in next week. We're going to have an awesome show. Thank you, Annalie and Javier, for being here. We really love talking about topics that are hard to talk about, but we know that it's important to bring it on the table, because you guys might be taking it to other places. So this is TAY Radio, guys, and we'll see you guys next week.
See you guys.
Bye.